Hello team, today's challenge is issue triage, where we're given a duration in milliseconds and we need to translate that to days, and then based on the number of days, we return a message. Either leave it, close it, or bump it, right? We close it if the message is 7 or more days old and contains the word bump. We've already bumped it once, so we don't bump it again, right? That's the idea. So these are the three messages. I'm going to steal these because that's easier. And we will put them right at the top, just like this. That way we have them, okay? Now, to get started, I want to build a utility. This is a utility that you've probably seen me use before. It is, at its core, it's just milliseconds to days. That's what we're doing, okay? So right here, we have a function. It's going to be milliseconds to days. We're going to pass in milliseconds, just like this. Could that be ms? Absolutely, okay? But there's a reason for that I will share a little bit later, okay? With this, we can go days, just like this. No, sorry, day singular. And that is how many milliseconds in a day. Do you remember? I do not. So I always like to go 1,000 times 60 seconds times 60 minutes times 24 hours, right? And then we can return math.trunc. I don't know why I added a space, trunc. And what are we doing? Well, it's the milliseconds, just like this, divided by day, okay? Which gives us that time. Now, again, we could absolutely put this bit of math inside of here, right? That would work instead of milliseconds divided by all of this math. A couple ways to do it, but I like having this as a utility because it makes everything that comes next just a little bit easier, right? So right here we go const, and what are we doing? Well, we're getting the days, right? The days is going to be equal to ms to days, just like this. We're passing in ms, excellent, and we start to check stuff. So if days is less than 7. Okay, if it's less than 7, then we return what? We return leave it, right? So leave it, okay? Now, if it's greater than 7, anything that isn't caught by this first one is going to be greater than 7. So we don't need to check that again, right? If it's 7 or more days, we just need to check if the content contains bump, okay? Now, bump can be uppercase or lowercase. You see case insensitive here. So we do if bump, just like this, we make it case insensitive, and then we test what? Well, we test the message, okay? And if that is true, then we return close it, just like this. That should be in quotes, excellent, okay? And then the final bit is to remove the milliseconds and just return bump it, right? So in quotes, bump it, and that should do it, okay? It really is as simple as that. We just calculate the milliseconds to days because it's already a duration, right? And in fact, this works without using trunc. So what they've done here is all of their times. This is actually one day, right? 864 and then followed by all the zeros. That is one true day. The amount of milliseconds in a day. They do that with all of these, right? So it's always going to round out to very even days. But I'm not a fan of that. What happens if they throw a wrench in that? So I always want to round it down, okay? So that's why I used math.trunc, just like this. And then, of course, we send that through to our function. And based on that information, we return a certain string, okay? And it works. It works great. So what are our options? Well, there's only one that I can think of, right? I'm sure that you'll be able to give me more in the comments. If you can, absolutely do that. But one thing that we could do is instead of using this right here, we could use the temporal API, right? So let's start again. We're going to comment this out for a second. And right here we go function ms. Why am I doing it this way? I should really just be copying it and deleting everything that is inside because that would be easier, okay? Now right here, we get rid of all of this and we set const days, okay? And this is why I used milliseconds because we actually need to use the full name on this, okay? So days equals temporal, it's going to be capitalized. This is going to be the duration, which is also capitalized. And then we go from. And what are we doing? Well, we're passing in an object with our different time bits. So we can go from milliseconds, spelling it right, just like so, right? And then from here, we can do round, right? And what are we rounding on? Well, we're rounding on days. There are more technical options than this, but this gets the job done, right? So we round it to days. We are returning the days, which is excellent. And then down here, we return what? Well, we return days, right? Days, just like this. Everything still works. It's all great, but a little bit slower, right? And not fully supported. I think Safari is still taking their merry time on getting there with that, but it's an option, right? And if you're already using temporal, then maybe this is a little more explicit in what you're doing. You're saying, you know what, get me a duration that is from the milliseconds and round it to the days. And we're returning days, which is right here. Great, we're using those days down here to do all that work. It all works out. If you don't have access to temporal, then you absolutely need to do the first one. And if I'm being honest, the first one, because it's just math, it is going to be faster, at least for a little while until temporal catches up, okay? So that's it. That's the whole thing. Again, not every solution, just hopefully one good solution. If you liked it, if you hated it, if you found others, let me know all that stuff in the comments. Otherwise, today this has been Issue Triage, and I will see you tomorrow.